Thanks everyone for joining today's webinar. I'm going to be covering how to extract and track quite a lot of WatchGuard events. This is a good one today. What we found during the setup for this was we could get a lot more information out of the WatchGuard events than what most people consider to be a lot. So let's go ahead and share the screen. All right, so just a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for over 20 years at this point. I was working at Cisco Systems for about 9 of those years and spent the last 5 at Cisco speaking at Cisco Live. In fact, if you're heading there this year, we'll be there as well, so be sure to visit us. But what was the point of building Logzilla Neo? So one of the biggest problems that we saw in the entire industry and what I saw when I was doing engineering work was really that network management tools would point out problems and say, hey, go fix this. But I always wanted something that would say, hey, this was broken and I fixed it. So we built Logzilla Neo, which is network event orchestration. And that is the process of taking all of the knowledge from everywhere in the network, on your servers, even external databases of information, putting it all together, essentially doing the same thing you can do, but it's done automated and obviously much, much faster. One of my favorite webinars that really talks about this capability of automation and data enrichment was a few weeks back. If you check our website, you'll find the To Catch a Thief webinar. And we actually covered the ability to kind of bind physical and digital worlds in a student reporting at a university, reporting a stolen laptop or phone. And within a few seconds of that device coming back on the network, we had them located down to the room they're sitting in, and the police were dispatched with the detective and the case ID on it and everything. So really, really cool webinar. Check that out if you get a chance. So what did we do? When we developed this, the first problem we solved was being able to listen at scale. And if you look at industry standards, I'll put quotes around that, you'll see a lot of this, the kind of only logging only solutions out there will index around 1 to 300 gigs per day per indexer. And again, if you look on our website, scroll about halfway down, you'll see our system here indexing at peaks of 855,000 events per second. Really, really fast, right? And you're talking about really 1,000 to 1 in terms of what you need for hardware to run your infrastructure versus managing a data center full of servers to do it. The next part is to be able to learn. So what can we learn about this thing that happened, whether it's a security event or a network event or a server event, or Susie or Joe clicking on an email that you've told them 8,000 times not to click on. What can you do with that? And really this process just begins with thinking about, what would I do with it? I would go look at Susie's PC and tell her to stop doing that. But, we want to mitigate that as fast as possible. We need to find out who it is, where it's at, what they're supposed to be doing, what they're not doing. All of those things take time, and it takes you time to investigate that. Instead, we can do it in a matter of seconds. And then finally resolve. So let's mitigate that, right? Let's shut Susie out of the network, or lock the PC down so it doesn't infect everybody else and send out all her emails and all of that stuff. If you're not doing this automatically, then it's too late. It's already gotten her contact list and started to spread to more systems, right? So let's talk about WatchGuard. Great firewall, but your default console in WatchGuard looks pretty much like this, right? So you have some logs flowing by, and as an engineer, I really don't want to sit in front of this and try to pluck out the bad things. It's nice to have a red thing here, but there's a lot of stuff that gets allowed that we may not see, right? So what if we're allowing Tor nodes that we didn't specifically block? Well, how are we going to see that in here? One of the nice things they did, though, is they put a message ID. And they also documented what all of those message IDs mean. So we can take that and carve it out into this. So you'll see a dashboard for a WatchGuard Firewall here. And this is one of many options. Just happens to be what I put on the screenshot, where things like denied signatures. And right away, easily, I can see there's a DDoS happening. This screenshot was taken from one of our customers' networks, by the way. And when we did this for them, they did not know these buffer overflow and DDoS were happening. So, and then here are the details of those things down in the bottom right widget. So really, really easy and instant visibility with this. And then here's the proxy. Now, I know this is kind of hard to see, but there's so many juicy things that I wanted to put them on a screenshot, and I'll show you live here in a second as well. But we're able to track where everybody's going, where the countries are that they're hitting, what rules are being hit for HTTP, HTTPS, even email. Everything that goes through the proxy is easily tracked now through this. So how did we do it, right? Well, we looked at the documentation. You can see WatchGuard's URL. And we basically took this and went from this to this. And this is a Logzilla rule. Now, it's well commented because we had the information from the documentation. There's a script that just converts it all automatically. It does all of the documentation in a matter of a couple of seconds. Makes it much easier, right? I don't want to sit down and write this if I don't have to. A couple of things you'll notice here. If somebody's using key value pairs, like this NIF, OutIF stuff, Logzilla will automatically extract that. So you'll see there's actually no regular expressions here. The only thing we're matching on is the message field itself. And then we extract the tags. And we also update. So we actually took their documentation and updated the message itself so you have more information, right? Here's the description of what this rule is actually doing for you. And you end up with this. So you can see the file sizes here, but we actually split it out into each section. So you could have, your rule set. If you don't run management or mobile, there's no reason to have a rule or a dashboard for it. So I have proxy, I have, firewall. That's all I use on my WatchGuard. So I'll just load those and use them. So here's the good news. The work's already done. You're not going to write any rules or dashboards or do anything. All you need to do is get them from us. And the reason that this webinar is going to be so short is we're not going to tell you how to do it, because we're going to tell you how to implement it, right? And doing that in Logzilla Neo is dead simple to do. Simply load the rule in the dashboard and you're good to go. So the point of this is now you get to focus on your job. And that's what we want. That's what this is about. It's not becoming an admin of a tool that you bought to solve a problem. It's to become the user of a solution that solves problems. So how do we do this? Step one, these are easy steps, right? Step two, import the rules from GitHub, and we'll happily send these links out after we're finished here, of course. Step three is to import the dashboard. And step four, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day. Very difficult. So you're looking at, 5 minutes worth of work to get all of those dashboards and rules and everything set up in your system. And that is awesome. So with that, I'll go ahead and share a live demo here. All right. And if you can't see the screen, speak up. I'm just kidding. This is a webinar. Okay, so let me get to the WatchGuard dashboard for Firewall, and you can see these events coming in. Everything that I showed you on the screenshot, these are some sample events. Of course, some of it's been anonymized, what with security and all that. So very easy. Let's find out. I've got things going to Great Britain that aren't supposed to be going there. So I'm going to click on this, and maybe I'll go here and look at the geo IP information, find out, hey, that's Netherlands, or China or whatever, and now we want to block it. Let's just right click, execute a script that goes to the firewall and blocks it, or even goes to a router and null routes it. Doesn't matter. Okay, same thing for any of those events that come in. Let's go take a look at our proxy so we can get a better view other than the one in the presentation. All right, so we can see everything coming in here, live data, everything on the dashboard you'll notice is updating every second. All data for us is live. The second it happens is the second you see it. You don't wait for it to get indexed or anything. So we can see where the top users are. We can see, you know, even if a malware gets out, hey, you know, this is FedEx.net, that should be .com, right? So pretty easy to see. And then, of course, with geodestinations enabled, you get pretty easy view of that as well. On SMTP, same thing. Susie clicks that email, and all of a sudden we've got top sender popping up here. So let's go do something about it. Now, in Logzilla Neo, this is only half of it. In the world of log management or trap management or whatever management, you can put whatever you want in here. It's great to have that visibility, but it's even greater to do something with it. So here we can go to triggers and set automations and do whatever we want. Now, in the case of what you're seeing here, I've only got some stuff for Cisco events, but we could take those 1,800 tags and trigger on them. If it has this contained in it, then go do that. If it's got, you know, malware or Tor node, or let's say a DMCA takedown. There's a good example, right? Why do you have to go look all that up? Why don't you just automate that? We got a DMCA takedown notification. We're just going to go boom, 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 check it out. Here's the IP, warn the user, tell DMCA that they're being goofy because they send out too many of them, right? I like to kid. But same concept, right? So let's look at an example of an automation. I'll just use one of the network switches here to do something simple like that, right? So in the interface here, we can just get right to the systems. It's all HTML5. And I'll turn the terminal monitor on, and I'm going to go here, interface, loop 0, and I am going to learn how to type. Okay, I'm going to shut it down. And you're going to see, because terminal monitor's on, as soon as it goes linked down, you're going to see it come back up. And that's because Logzilla has already gone in within a second here, went to our change management system, says, hey, this is an unauthorized change. Now go to our config database, look up the config for this device, grab the right thing, and put it in there. And to get notified, I'm not a fan of email because, you know, in engineering, you got 300 or 400 of them in an inbox that you don't look at. So instead, we'll send it to Slack. And now we've got this message that came in, and Logzilla going, hey, I fixed it. Here's what I did to fix it. Have a nice day. We like that have a nice day thing around here, right? So it's all about making it easier for you guys to do your job. A lot of this stuff that comes in, whether it's security, network, systems, doesn't matter. 99% of it, we already know how to fix. We just don't have time to fix it. So why do we keep doing the same thing over and over again? What's the definition of insanity, right? So instead, let this do it for you, but let it do it much faster. Your security mitigations, your network, your systems, everything can be done in a split second versus you trying to go figure out what's going on. All right, I think we're about, what, 15-minute mark? So that should be a wrap. Thank you, everyone.